properly, we have plenty of research data that we hope is done across a very large number population base that concludes that men often earn a little bit more money than women. I can't remember the exact percentages that were quoted, but I would like to talk about that for just one moment as a man who observes women. I know many small business owners who are men and women. I also know that I have a colleague out there in my community from back home who wrote a book on the difference between men and women in business. I'm not sure I agreed with the entire thing, but I had a book about it in my personal library. I bought the book in honor of the people who wrote it, the organization, the international networking organization that supported it and was one of the authors on it, Ivan Meisner. What I can tell you is that I agreed with some and disagreed with others, because a lot of the women that I interacted with openly had a husband making a living. Now, these were not women going back to moonlight in some way. These were women who really needed the money to do things for their family. But at the same time, most of the women had a breadwinner already in their family in terms of their husband. Many women, in the privacy of conversation independently with me, getting acquainted in those typical one-on-ones after meeting at networking events, and making the date for a lunch, a tea, a dinner. I don't think I had too many dinners except with one of my dearest friends who I really love to the rest of my life. And I won't tell you her name at this time, but she's someone I'd love to marry. But the reality is that men still have rights. What I mean is maybe the salary difference is because of the implications of the man's responsibility to his entire family, which is still very much a part of historic society. And that we haven't quite gotten to the full-on principles, even though we talk about it publicly, even though we express it across all kinds of news shows and journalism programs, that men and women make up a unit household. The reality is that doesn't imply that two households can't come together and fly, but it also doesn't mean that there isn't a hell of a lot of responsibility today to educate our children in some way. So if you're a mom and you get married and now you've got a family of 6 like the Brady Bunch, you are responsible for each child's college, because most likely they're not probably working in part-time jobs. So we're talking $30,000 a year at the present moment, at the present rate, at a decent university in any state. Accordingly, I've done very little research, but this is what I heard. $30,000 a year, apparently, across 4 or 5 years, times 6. How much investment is that for a parent of any kind, man or woman, male or female, to have to provide?